Hey, welcome to my channel, Beer and Beautiful Places. My name is Maddie. My channel is about going on adventures, and today we are going to talk about how to dress warmly for being outside in the cold. What made me think of doing this video is that I had another video about hiking in the cold, and I noticed a lot of people discovered that video because I talk about layering tips, and then I thought, well, in that video, kind of talk about layering, but I don't really go into it. So I'd love to give you guys more information. So here it is. Today we're going to do two parts in this video. The first one, I'm going to talk about specific clothing you need to keep you warm. And then we're going to talk just general tips. So to start it off, talking about clothes, let's start at the top, your base layer. You are going to want something that is close to the skin and moisture wicking. I'll show you some examples. So my favorite top to wear outside in the cold is this base layer from a company called Stoic. The fabric is really good at wicking sweat away. It's tight, and it even has thumb holes, which I love because sometimes my hands are too hot to wear gloves, but too cold to be bare. So just having my hands in the thumb hole, most of my hand is covered. It's good stuff. If you don't want to go out and buy anything and you have an athletic type material, like an athletic type material shirt, like this one, which is big on me, but this is just an example. This material is very slick. It's perfect for getting wet. So if you have a long sleeve shirt like this is a lifeguard shirt I got from work. This will be another good option, and you might already have something like it and don't have to go out and get anything. If you don't have anything like that and you can't buy anything, something better than just a normal cotton long sleeve t-shirt would be this kind of fabric. I believe it's called waffle fabric. I'm not really sure. Maybe I just have food on the brain, but this is going to be a pretty good option. Not as good as the others, but like I said, if you don't want to spend money and you have something like this, it would be probably your best bet. Now let's talk about your second layer on top. You want a fleece that also as tight as you can is going to be good. If the zipper goes all the way, that will also really save you some trouble because you can find that middle ground of not on or off, but halfway unzipped. The more you can control how hot you are, that's going to really help too. So this is my favorite fleece to wear. This is just a quarter zip, but it has the thumb holes again, and I don't really know how to show this to the camera, but it's super thick. And so that layer of extra material is really good. This isn't by a big outdoor company. The brand is called Everlast. I had never heard of them, and I got this on sale on Black Friday a few years ago. If you have a fleece like this lovely garment I'm sporting today, this also really keeps me warm, but notice the extra bagginess. Your body is producing heat, and if you have a fleece that's close to the skin like this, then it has to make less heat to keep you warm. If what you're wearing is baggy, then your body heat has to heat up all that in there and around here. So if you can't go out and buy something, this is a pretty good option, but the tighter the better. Also, anything with elastic, that's going to help trap heat too. If you don't own anything fleece, and I didn't for a while, something you could do is wear a wool sweater. It might not be the greatest, but this is gonna keep you warm. That was our mid layer Now for our outer layer, coats. I really love this one, puffy coat. Down or synthetic really depends on the specifics of what you're doing outside, but just having something puffy is a really good option. It has lots of elastic to trap the heat. And this is actually a kid's extra large, and it costed $10 less than a adult small. So think about that when you're buying. You might be able to find some sort of hack like that. This is one of my other favorites. The best thing about this is that on the armpit section, it has, oh, I just set that back up. It has ventilation flaps, which is really great because if it's not, you don't feel hot enough where you can take your coat off, but you're still getting a little sweaty, just open those up and it gets the air in there, gets some ventilation, and that's super handy to have. I also really love this because it's big, so if I wanted to, I could wear this underneath this, and it's extra warm. This is something else I got on sale a few years ago. Really like this because I trust the North Face brand. Plus, it's never let me down. It is a little thinner than I like the other ones more for, but what I like about it is tighter, so if I'm not trying to layer too much, it is closer to the skin. Alrighty, now let's talk about pants. So for your base layer pants, they do sell a lot of great products. This I got from REI. I believe it was a little bit of a splurge for me, but it's worth it because it's thin, but it also keeps me really warm. It's close to the skin, it's moisture wicking, would recommend. Also, I'll put all the links to my favorite products if they're still being sold in the description, just in case anyone really wants to look at the details or possibly even buy them. If you don't want to go out and get base layer pants or tights, if you already own fleece lined leggings, like this, like we were talking about before, fleece is a really good material for retaining heat. So that would probably be your second best option. If you don't own either of those, don't want to go buy them. Before I had those two, I just wore normal athletic tights like this, and that worked pretty well. Not as good, but still something. Now, when it comes to pants, you really need waterproof pants. If you sit down, the moisture, like the snow, could get onto your pants and keep you cold the whole rest of the day. Plus, it really helps with blocking out some of the wind. These are my snow pants. I've had them since I was a teenager. Great pockets. Elastic towards the bottom of the pants, and then it zips over in case you're wearing snow boots. This part closes around or underneath your snow boot, and then this part goes on top to keep that snow out another layer. You always, always, always need a hat. That's probably the most important because so much of your body heat escapes out at the top of your head. Gloves are also very important. Your extremities are probably going to get cold first, so you're going to need something to cover your hands. The more waterproof, the better. And something to cover your feet. Warm socks. Some really good brands are Smartwool and Darn Tough. These are Carhartt. I've had them a few years, and they do wear down eventually, but to be fair, I have worn these socks a whole lot. Gotten some good use out of them. If you have socks like this, where they're fuzzy, they're really great to wear in the house, They're not really your best bet for wearing outside because your feet are probably going to sweat and that all that moisture is just going to make you cold. Next, you do see scarves a lot when people go outside in the winter time, but I have never found a scarf to be that helpful because it's trying to keep your neck warm, and usually I just have my fleece zipped up like this, so my neck is already warm from that. Instead, I would suggest a buff. These are called a lot of different things. I call them buffs because that's the brand name of mine. But anyway, they can be a neck warmer. You can wear them over your lower face. And that really helps me because my nose always gets super cold. You could also wear them as a headband to keep your ears warm. Or there's really a million different ways. These are super handy. Definitely recommend buffs. Also, waterproof shoes. If you are wearing your tennis shoes or any kind of shoe that's not meant to get wet, then water will seep in, if you're in the snow, I mean, or in the mud. But water seeps in and your feet will stay cold, your socks will get wet, and that just makes everything 10 times worse. If you can't afford to go out and get snow boots, waterproof hiking boots, even rain boots, a freebie option of what you could do is take a plastic bag. It's easier if I just show you. Now with your warm socks already on, wrap a plastic grocery bag around your foot before you put on your shoe. This keeps the wetness out, so if your shoes get wet, you'll still be pretty cold, but it's better than being cold and wet. You can tuck the bag in if you don't want it to show, tie it tight to trap that heat, and you are good to go. Looking good. Ow, ow! Alright, now it's time for part 2, tips. All the tips I can think of to help you stay warm outside. First of all, this sounds really weird, but you can shake warm blood down into your fingertips if they're cold. Just go like this, whip your arm around. Also, jumping jacks. I personally hate jumping jacks. I feel like they're just something we used to do in PE to be embarrassing, but really they get your heart rate going and they get your blood spread out to your fingertips and toes. Both of those two we're talking about spreading out heat, but also trapping heat is really important. What I mean by that is elastic is great and also tucking things in strategically. For example, tucking in your shirt tail, tucking your socks over your pants, tucking your pants into your boots, tucking your gloves down into your sleeves. Experiment and try to find the best way that traps the body heat. Next, if you happen to go inside or somewhere where it's a little warm, you want to take off your coat to let that warm air in. At first, when you walk in, maybe you're like, it's still cold in here, I'm still going to keep my coat on and then I'll be extra warm. But really what you're doing is blocking new warm air from coming into your coat. So when you go inside, take off your coat. And even if you still think, oh, I'm still cold, well, when you go back outside, you'll have something else to put on and that'll make you warmer. Try your hardest to not get sweaty. If you're going outside for a run, okay, you can't help it. But if you're doing something like hiking, what I would do is pay attention to when you start feeling like you're about to sweat and then start taking off layers. On the flip side of that, if you stop, you need to start putting stuff back on to retain that body heat. So even though you won't be exercising as hard, maybe your body will stop producing less heat, you trap that heat before it gets a chance to escape. Next, if you have to pee, go pee. You might not want to de-layer and everything, but I'm telling you, your body uses up energy to hold that pee in, and if you can go ahead and go to the bathroom, then your body can use more energy keeping you warm. Also, staying hydrated and having a fat burning snack is going to help your body create that heat as well. Also, I have heard from several different sources that smoke from a campfire or something can wear away waterproofing. So if you're by a fire, maybe keep that in mind. Although at some point, if you don't have the option to go change clothes, it might be worth it to go ahead and stand by the fire, and then later you can buy a waterproofing spray to help get that waterproofing back on. To see layers and everything we've learned today in action, you can watch my video called Why Hike in the Cold. It's a really great video where you can see all this stuff. I'll even model some of my gear for you. It's a good time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.